One of the most anticipated titles set for release this fall is The Outer Worlds 2, the sequel to Obsidian's excellent Outer Worlds, a game which sees you exploring small open world areas as you make decisions that will have a range of effects on the outcome of the game. The Outer Worlds 2, just like its predecessor, will see you talking, shooting, and exploring in order to work out the many problems that face this corporate-led galactic civilization. So today, on Game Rant, let's look at the hype surrounding The Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian Entertainment is one of the most important RPG developers in video game history. They started out making the notable sequel Knights of the Old Republic 2, a follow-up to BioWare's classic, and have somewhat thrived in sequel territory since, with Fallout New Vegas being their most well-acclaimed title. Recently though, their studio has started to diversify with multiple branches of Obsidian working on different games all at once. Outer Worlds 2 will mark the third full game release for Obsidian in 2025. The year started with them releasing the massive fantasy RPG Avowed, which is a first-person game set in the Pillars of Eternity world. Following that, this July we'll receive an Xbox game preview version of Grounded 2, which is Microsoft's way of adding early access to the Xbox platform. And the year will be capped off with the full release of The Outer Worlds 2. All of these games are large-scope experiences that had to have taken a long time in development, but the multiple branches of Obsidian have allowed smaller teams to focus on these middle-sized projects. Some would worry that this would mean Obsidian is stretched too thin, but their games have always proven to be quality experiences, even if sometimes they don't fully hit the mark. The biggest complaint surrounding Outer Worlds was that its planets felt linear and small. In a Bethesda or Obsidian RPG, a lot of the draw is that everyone explores in their own way, writes their own story, seizes their own landmarks, and navigates their own path. It felt like in Outer Worlds 1, the world was so narrow and so focused that these stories all came up as different takes on the same route. While Outer Worlds gave you the option to go at everything in your own way, whether that be with guns or with stealth or even with charisma, it always felt like that was as far as you could personalize your own journey. In the gameplay showcase for Outer Worlds 2 that we got after the Direct on the 8th, it definitely appeared that these planets are far more vast, showing more open world traversal and less linear path walking. This will need to be the case for Outer Worlds 2 to truly unlock its full potential, to become that RPG experience that has players walking away from this solar system with a bevy of their own stories. Something else that I picked up on in this gameplay showcase was the game's gunplay. Gunplay was fine in Outer Worlds, but from this showcase it looks far better. Obsidian has shown that their ability to create excellent combat has improved vastly. While Avowed had a different team, one of the best elements of that game was its combat, and it looks like the gunplay in Outer Worlds 2 has a lot of that same weighty impact carried over. In general, it just looks a lot better as guns burst with power and enemies react impactfully. It also appears that there are far more weapons to play around with, making this combat sandbox even more appealing. But one thing that Obsidian had going for them in the first game that they need to carry over was excellent dialogue. The dialogue options in the first game were incredible, as every situation could be talked through in a number of manners depending on what you had invested stats in. This, and the option to go stealth, the option to go guns a-blazing, gave every encounter a multitude of approaches. This wide array of approaches needs to hold up in a larger open space for Outer Worlds 2 to succeed. Ultimately, I think they will, but only time will tell. Other than that, the gameplay showcase for Outer Worlds 2 gave us exactly what we hope to see from a sequel. The world seems to have that whimsy that made the first game so great, allowing you to laugh as you shoot your way through this dystopian corporate society. The trailer showed off some of the new lore too, allowing players to delve deeper into what's going on in this galaxy. Finally, the expanded trait system seems like it'll give you more tangible ways to affect the world around you. Specifically, this door section shows off how if you invest into strength, you can rip open doors, or if you invest into engineering, you can fix the door. Statistical choices no longer just affect combat and dialogue, they now affect the whole world. As I talked about a bit earlier, the reactivity of everything was so excellent in the first game, and it does seem in this trailer that it'll hold up across the larger world. Obsidian is one of the most storied developers in the video game industry, so seeing them do what they've done for years is an exciting prospect. A lot of people, myself included, really liked Outer Worlds, and Outer Worlds 2 looks like more of what made the first game so great, with some specific things improved that needed improving. Obsidian is a master of sequels, and I think that The Outer Worlds 2 has a chance to keep that tradition running. I am hyped for this game, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching.